Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. And welcome to today's webinar. It is how to improve the lead to sales cycle in 2023. My name is Michaela, and I am the content marketing manager here at Get the Referral, and I'm your host today. I'm excited to have you all here with us. Today, as I said, we are going to introduce our new Get the Referral partner, 3Ships. And we're going to learn how to improve the lead to sales cycle. So we'll be sharing some insights into what's important and when you're looking at the different stages of that cycle and so much more. So we've got a lot to get to. But before we get started, I do want to take care of a couple of housekeeping items. And I want to make sure that you stay until the end. So we have got an exclusive offer at the end for webinar attendees only that we'll be sharing at the end of the webinar. So you don't want to miss it. Stick around, hang out with us for a bit, learn a few new things, and you will be able to get that offer at the end. So stick around. Also, yes, recording. We are recording today's webinar. We'll be sharing the replay link with you by email tomorrow. So keep a lookout for that. And when you get that email, we invite you to revisit the content that we'll be sharing with you today. And please feel free to share it with your colleagues and coworkers as well. On that note, we welcome all of your comments and questions. So please, if you think of a question at any point during the webinar, simply type it in the chat box and we'll hold it to the end. We have a Q&A portion at the end to answer all of those questions. So now I'm very excited to introduce my new friend from our new GTR partnership, a company called 3Ships. Their Director of Business Development is here, Gavin Higby, and he has spent 8 years in home service marketing, working on everything from direct mail to lead generation campaigns, and he currently heads up 3Ships' residential solar business development team. We are excited to have you here with us, Gavin. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. It is terrific to be here and glad we have a just broad group from all over the world. Not the world, sorry, the country. Jeez. Yeah. All right, great start. Yeah, no, like you said, we're about 3 hours ahead of you. So a little bit in the future, a little bit closer to the weekend. But I really enjoyed this entire process over the last month or so, getting to work with the Get the Referral team, meeting you all a little bit better and really figuring out just how many synergies there are between what our organizations do. And I think it's going to tee up a really fun conversation today.
Yes, I agree. I am excited. I've enjoyed our time together as well. I feel like we are new buddies and we have a lot to share with our audience. I'm excited. Looks like we've got some people from all over, like you said. We've got people from Chicago. Nikki's from Chicago. Greg is from Ohio. Paul from Massachusetts, Alexis from Florida, Barbara from San Diego. Welcome everyone. We are super excited to have
not quite the whole world, but you know, we're getting there.
Hey, you know what? The whole country. We'll do that. That's good for us. Well, Gavin, since we have you here, before we dive into the meat of our presentation, I would love to find out more about 3Ships. Share with our audience, who is 3Ships?
Yeah, so to give you the long and short of it, we're a digital-based, web-based, performance-based lead generation platform. Really how we go to market across a wide array of home services. Where we're doing lead generation for anything from foundation repair to roofing to solar. Obviously, that's what I'm doing. Exterior, interior remodeling. That's really a lot of what we work on here in our home services vertical of 3Ships. We have a couple other business divisions as well. We're in the direct-to-consumer mattress space, standing up some work in the legal space and health as well. But by and large, home services has been our focus. And that's kind of where I come in. And so best way to think about what we do is there's really two ways that we go to market, right? So number one, we have relationships with a number of large digital media publishers, and we write content for them for a variety of home services. And then we also own a number of category-specific websites across a variety of home services industries. And so we're writing a lot of content for those experiences as well. And the combined strategy at the end of the day is to leverage the domain authority of the sites we're publishing on to rank quickly, organically on page one of the Google search. So 100% first party, high quality homeowner audience coming through, really solid content that makes them well qualified is our game at the end of the day.
I love that. I love that. And that's a perfect way to kind of summarize what you've shared with me so far. The part that I think that I found most interesting, what you just said in terms of the different types of websites in the home services industry. Obviously, you mentioned solar. So does that mean you may have websites on like roofing, for example?
Yeah, exactly right. And, that's always a bit of a moving target for us. We are a quickly growing organization, and home services is an enormous industry. And so when it comes to prioritizing industries to expand in, domain and site acquisition and all those things are things that we evaluate. Roofing is absolutely a big category for us in conjunction with solar. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. You need a roof to put up solar panels.
Right, exactly. They do go very well together. We found that as well. So what would you say the problem is that you solve for our industry, the home services industry? What pain point does this three ships solve?
Yeah, it's twofold. We are a lead generation provider, and that is an unbelievably broad topic or a broad category of companies, right? And the quality of said leads is going to range and vary wildly, right? All the way from, rinky dink, somebody selling third party purchase leads from their garage, all the way up to large multi-billion dollar super reputable organizations. And so that is a large challenge for both consumers in terms of transparency and speaking to those that they actually need to speak to, as well as our partners, right? You want to make sure that your sales operation is efficient. You're not flooding your call center with inefficient leads and, negative return on investment. Like those are never things you want to be aiming for. And so that is where we as an organization try to step in, right? So from a consumer standpoint, our content is incredibly informative. We're not, using solar as an example in the game of, putting free everywhere, trying to drive as much volume and then passing it through to our partner. That's really not our approach. It's about well-informed, educated content that is going to rank well. And so if it's going to rank well organically, by nature, it needs to serve a purpose that consumers are looking for. And so that is, how we are servicing the consumer in this instance. From our partner perspective, it's all about quality and well-qualified leads coming through our platform into our partnership. So making sure that our lead flows and lead funnels by industry and by category are set up so that we're answering the questions that our partners need in order to drive business. So, again, you're going to hear me talk about solar a lot just because this is my world and it's what I know. But, we're capturing utility providers, utility bills, credit score, roofing type, especially with a lot of the net metering legislation coming out. It's making sure that we're appropriately breaking apart panel and storage versus panel only. There's a lot of change coming there in the coming year, and we need to make sure we're ahead of it. So all that is to say that our approach means that we are helping our consumers get the information they need to then flow through to our partners and convert on a service they need, and doing that in a way that's high quality, waste mitigated, and cost effective.
Love that. Cost effective and efficient and all the things that we need within our industry. And I love that you keep mentioning solar, because that's, one of the areas that Get the Referral focuses on as well, is all of the different, home services industry. So it can be very challenging to get quality leads in those areas. So.
Yeah, the more considered a purchase gets, the better qualified that your lead needs to be. I mean, using solar as an example, once again, my career, if you can't tell, is clearly solar powered. But
I like that.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky audience. It's super considered. You need to have your high quality information, and In the solar space, there's raw lead generation, and we kind of fall into that bucket. But there are also companies out there that are taking appointments, qualifying them even further, and passing them along. And I think that's a direct result of the fact that you really need to be servicing the consumer in the right way to get a very lucrative sale down the line.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's a lot involved in that process. So you've talked a lot about solar, and we keep touching on the different home services. What percentage of your client base would you say is in home services in general? I know you mentioned solar, but the other areas of that.
For sure. Speaking in reference to our home vertical, and again, home is really the largest contingent of our organization. I mean, we cover essentially any home service you can think of. We have a large team, it's safe to say, of content writers on our end. And so foundation repair, like I mentioned before, foundation repair, internal, external remodeling, lawn care, tree removal, foundation repair. One that kind of bleeds into our vertical slightly is insurance as well. Not sure that everyone would tuck pet insurance into a home services vertical, but I have 2 cats in this house, and I can well and truly say I consider it to be a home services purchase. So that kind of gives you a sense of just how broad and how wide category base we are covering. Moving services is another great example of one that we are starting to look at more closely and invest in heavily.
Yeah, that's excellent. So your services can be used by, of course, you focus on the home services and the home improvement and pool and spa and windows and doors and solar and roofing, all the ones that get the referral focuses on as well. But you also have some other things that you can branch out into, and so you can serve a lot of different markets. And
and to that end, add on, we have a broad array of categories that we work in. We're also 2023 is going to be a big year of innovation for us in terms of channel diversification. We have worked on hiring over the kind of past 12 months and a couple channels that we know we need to break into. Think social, think email. And we're piloting those things. I think one of the benefits of us being a portfolio of brands and assets is that we have a banner that we can go out and learn on these things. And once we have a good sense of where our value proposition is and how we can provide an additional source of volume for our partners, that's when we introduce it. I think, philosophically, the way we operate, and I'm sure there's a lot of hyperbole thrown around in the lead generation space about good partners, but we truly do base what we, the programs that we run with our partners in something that is economically sustainable. We make sure that we have a really good sense of the brand's KPIs, and we price according to those KPIs. Our goal is to have strategic and long-term relationships across a variety of home services. And, we would rather set a partnership off on the right foot and start smaller, knowing that we have the quality and the value in our audience to have that grow organically and make it a really exciting process for both sides.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Definitely starting small with very quality. You can grow the quality into quantity, but it'll still be quality.
Exactly right. And Alexis, to your question, absolutely is the short answer. We're continuing to test and iterate on it is the slightly longer answer. So of course, just using solar and roofing is that perfect example, right? Often cases, someone's roof might not be in good condition and they need to get it replaced before having solar installed. Similarly, if someone's getting a solar panel installed, chances are they're focused on energy efficiency in their home. And so is there an opportunity to talk to them about insulation, about windows? There's so much more to making your home energy efficient beyond just making sure that it's powered by the sun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you for giving us all that detail, the information about 3 ships and what you guys are doing to really help businesses grow and get this, the lead to sales cycle off to a strong start. So with that, let's get into a little bit of the meat of what we're here to talk about,
Let's
right?
dive into it.
Yeah, we want to talk about how to improve the lead to sale performance and process. And I promise everyone, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of slides. I'm going to just share this one here, maybe a couple at the end. But Gavin and I are going to have a conversation about these different steps. And I did want to make sure that you all, we're all on the same page when we're talking about the sales cycle. This is pretty basic in terms of what the steps are for each stage of the cycle. We're talking about the beginning from lead to prospect, right? They're either a lead or a prospect, depending on how you vetted them at this point, and then we qualify them, make that sales pitch, and then of course we're hoping for that close, right? And then underneath that, we've got that loyalty and advocacy component. That's at the end where we kind of want to nurture them further and keep them on, right? So we can have repeat business or referrals, as we love so very much here at Get the Referral. So when we're talking about this sales cycle today, I want to keep this in mind at the different stages of this. And I just want to highlight before we get into some of these questions about how to improve this process, that the lead to sales cycle is really kind of the sweet spot of where Three Shifts comes in. You guys, the most important thing is, starting off strong. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. But when you have a strong beginning, everything else usually works a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, a little bit more efficiently. And when you finally do have that customer, that is where GTR can come in and kind of make this whole cycle into a flywheel, right? That's kind of one of those buzzwords in marketing these days. Instead of a
You
funnel,
love a good flywheel.
right. Instead of a funnel and them dropping out and then we have to get all new ones at the beginning, we want to bring those back around for either repeat business or, like I said, referrals. We want them to share their experience and bring in other qualified referral leads for us. So let's get into it. I'm going to move this off our screen for a moment. And now that we've kind of defined the nuts and bolts here, let's talk. Now, when we talk about optimizing the lead to sales cycle, making it perform better, what do you think or believe, Gavin, that is the first and probably most important thing to look at? I may have already kind of exposed this, but
yeah, no, it's very loaded question. And to that end, I'm going to respond with three things, not one thing, because I think that they're truly, equally important. This is a sales funnel, and the more efficient you can make that funnel, the better and the higher level of conversion and the better return on your investment you're going to make. So really, I would say there's kind of three key stages to that funnel, and there's going to be an important thing to watch out for each of them, right? And that begins, as you alluded to, at the start. So you want to make sure that the source and the quality of your third party lead generation initiatives is strong. So there, as I mentioned again at the beginning, this is going to be a running theme. Lead gen providers vary greatly in terms of their quality. So making sure that you as a business understand, maybe not down to the page level, but where are these leads coming from? Are they organically sourced? Are they coming from paid channels? Are they email? Are they social? That's going to be a really important factor. Are they first party lead gen providers? Are they third party? I think first party is what we do. And we find a lot of our partners prefer that because we have 100% control over the quality of our audience. Not to say that third-party lead gen initiatives where they're buying their own third-party list aren't effective. I think it becomes a math equation, right? And some of these people can get their lead mix really solid, and it becomes a great way to get leads at scale and maintain quality. But by and large, we view one of our value propositions is that we're never buying a third-party list that we then resell to partners. Everything that we're passing is sourced from us. And so it's one person to work through. As performance optimization opportunities come up, we work together with our partners, and what we do and how we go to market and how we publish content sets ourselves up to make sure that the quality of the audience we're capturing meets the needs of those partners. And so, if you take anything from this kind of section, it's be thoughtful about your lead generation providers, especially this year, the economy that we're going into. Make sure that they're ready to have a like partnership and a dialogue about performance, and that they're there to work with you to make something more sustainable, as opposed to another of 1,500 partners that they have in this category in the country. So that's kind of step one. Lead source, you want to have that be good. I'm going to pause because, as I'm sure everyone on this call can tell already, I'm a talker. And so you don't interrupt me if there are questions. So I'll pause there for a second, Michaela.
No, you're good. I love that because it is, so crucial to have the foundation, right? Like the foundational, where you're getting your leads from, which campaigns, if you're sourcing from different places, whether you're buying leads, you probably have hopefully a referral program. If you don't, make sure you stay till the end. We'll talk more about that. But we have people who are still doing door knocking. They might have some paid campaigns. So you have to always evaluate where you're getting these leads from, and which are your best performers. And you will probably find, like what you've mentioned, like the quality is going to always win. And if you can find that a source like 3Ships is providing those quality leads, or you're getting higher conversions in quality from referrals, you can focus your energy on those, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that almost, is a great segue into bucket number 2, which is lead quality is awesome only if you can service them and engage with them in the right way, in the right cadence, through the right channels, right? So I know that any organization running a call center that's taking substantial lead volume in any given day is really focused on call center efficiency. Just because a campaign comes in and meets cost per installation targets, or any other variety of KPIs, doesn't necessarily mean it's a healthy, strong performing campaign. It could be 100 leads, you made 3 sales, but you were only able to speak to 3 people. That's a lot of time wasted on your call center for leads that aren't necessarily high quality. So having a strong and well set up CRM is obviously going to be key here, that can quickly and appropriately kind of funnel the leads through to the right call centers. There are a lot of companies out there who are getting more and more sophisticated in how they're scoring leads as they come in, and appropriately routing that to the right call center or the right agent. I think looking at your data and understanding your full funnel, both from the leads coming in as well as your team working against those, is going to be really important to make an efficient call center. The second part of that is, contact rates can be challenging at times, especially, as there continues to be more focus on data visibility and transparency. So it's not just about, calling your leads a number of times a day or a number of times a week. It's about using what you know about them to reach out to them in the best possible way. So time zone, their house location, their roof size, their utility bill, but then layering that in with some additional factors. Have they provided you with a preference of like contact time? That's something very common. And I know that Get the Referral, in fact, has something similar to help better qualify. So that is for sure a process that you need to get down. And there are a lot of tools out there to help. There are brands out there now that work with cell phone carriers and can help make sure that when you're reaching out to consumers, that you're not showing up as a potential spam call that is just always not going to get answered all day, every day. And we live in a world now where if I get called and I don't recognize the number, I'm probably not answering it. So, taking that even a step further and making sure that your title on your outreach is, X solar brand or X Windows brand. Those are all things that can help. And then channel diversification. So emailing your leads or your appointments, texting your leads and appointments is really, crucial in terms of just answering rates or read rates. Like almost 100% of people are opening their text messages. And then on top of that, the general attitude and sentiment towards companies texting, especially if they've, raised their hand and expressed interest in a particular category, is going to be huge. So there are a variety of tools and platforms out there that can be, hopeful to get that stood up and established. Think a Twilio or, Get the Referral, I'm sure has other aspects to their platform that exactly kind of help this.
Oh,
so those are kind of two buckets. And then really the third falls into continued engagement, right? And that's really, I won't even speak to that because you all are the pros.
Well, thank you. But I agree with you with everything you said. I mean, getting past, getting people to pick up the phone these days is increasingly more difficult. I know a lot of people love, the phone call thing, and a lot of salespeople love that too, and I understand why. But spam likely calls me every day at 2:00, and I don't answer his call.
Yeah, that's great. And then there's also I want more buzzwords. AI is coming and is exciting, equal parts exciting and terrifying. But leveraging tools like that, automated texting with set questions, AI chat functionality that can ask the questions that you want to ask that help better qualify your leads. Those are all things that are going to, and they take investment, right? So you need to make that trade-off call. Is it going to overtly impact your efficiency? If not, it's definitely worth exploring because you will see an impact from investing in services like this. Just fun stat I saw before I even jumped on this call, or just earlier today when I was kind of getting myself ready. I mean, 34% of people are reading their text within 5 minutes. Like, I can almost guarantee, like, that's not even close. Like, that's not even an open rate for solid email campaigns. So your ability to get in front of this consumer in a variety of different ways, but if you can, even better, the right way, is going to do wonders for contact rates and therefore efficiency down funnel.
I could not agree more. I love that. And just thinking in that same realm, at Get the Referral, for those who might be new to us, many of you guys are our customers, but we, with our custom branded mobile apps that we provide to our customers, it does include in-app messaging and push notifications, which is my favorite feature, I think, outside of the Project Stages tool. And simply because of that, like, it is an easy way to stay top of mind and engage with your customer and, reach out to them like you would with a text. You have a mobile app on your phone that pops up a push notification saying, hey, whatever you want to say, we just had the holidays, so we were doing happy holidays messages or anything. So I agree with you. Finding a way to communicate and stay in touch and stay top of mind is really important in different ways. Meeting people where they're at is key, I think.
And so, like, as an example of that, it's not just a once the lead's passed off process. We have layered in, because we're fully TCPA compliant, we've layered in texting into our process too. So when somebody comes through one of our Solar experiences and submits a lead, we're texting them, letting them know who they were matched with. Because, of course, it's gonna give them the heads up and the flag to know to be expecting phone calls. But then it's just an added, continuity to the process and better transparency to the consumer. I think that consumers view data and lead generation in general with, to a certain extent, misinformed fear. I think that the internet can seem like a black box that no matter what you do, your information is getting captured from everywhere. So your ability and our ability to help hold the consumer's hand through this process is only going to pay dividends down funnel.
Yes. No, fantastic. So on that note of the importance of this process of staying top of mind and staying connected and communicating, right? Because communication is key. How would you say the nurturing, how would you nurture and further, I guess, get the people down that sales cycle with your leads and prospects the right way? Is it just the texting, or is there more other things that you would say are involved in that process?
Yeah, look, I think it's there's no one channel that's the answer. You need to be engaging with them, or at least initially, via a multi-channel approach. this is a competitive landscape. The vast majority of lead providers out there at least do some form of shared lead. And even to that point, you could argue that most people who are going through for home services aren't just looking at one domain. They're probably looking at multiple places. And so your ability to get in front of somebody quickly and hear back from them quickly is going to be key in you winning business from your competition. It's a jump ball these days. And so even though it can seem extensive and wide ranging, like you want to start broad. And then as you learn more about the consumer, you can kind of tailor your communication more and focus it down. I mean, one reason that Get the Referral is a really solid service and process, right? I think that your ability to, once an appointment is set, continue engaging with that consumer is markedly improved by having that sort of platform, offering them up incentivization to engage with the platform via referrals. Like these are all things. And then, leveraging a platform like Get the Referral to be a dialogue point with that consumer are just ways that you're going to make them stickier. And, hopefully eventually become a sale, a conversion. And if not, figuring out ways to continue to engage with that person.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important when you talk about this whole process and nurturing the leads that we're really talking about the customer experience, right? Like they come in and we're continuing to communicate at a high level with respect and all of the things that they're looking for. So hopefully that when, not just if they become a customer, that they can share that experience, right? They can share that experience with their friends. And if they are using Get the Referral, it'll make it easier for them to get into that referral process. And
and there's just lucrative incentive, especially if you're an individual and not a business. The concept of making $1,500 for referring a friend to solar installation is appealing.
100%. Oh yeah. So then what would you say? I know I don't want to keep talking about how Get the Referral is the one technology or software platform. There's probably there's probably a few different ones that could help improve the sales to lead to sales cycle and that whole process. But if you had to pick one, what would you say is probably the most important one? What technology or software component would you say for improving the lead to sales cycle that say a new
company? No, for sure. I may tweak the question a little bit to say like, which portion of these is most important, just because I think there are a wide, I don't think there is a single platform that solves for everything. I think that, there's the active prospects of the world, the Get the Referrals of the world, Twilio, the variety of email service providers out there are all going to be brands that you want to engage with and explore as you develop a lead generation strategy. I would say from my granted biased opinion, the biggest pain points that I tend to hear about are around lead quality. We are having conversations regularly with a number of home services brands across a variety of categories. And there is, I can almost guarantee, going to be skepticism on our initial calls. A lot of these brands are getting 10s to 20s of emails a day from people who want to sell them something. And especially when it comes down to leads, a lot of these companies, a lot of our partners have tried lead generation in the past, and there's a lot of promises at the beginning, but then once a campaign stands up and gets running, it falls flat on its face. The leads aren't the right quality or the right segment of the population that our partners need. And so that, if anything, finding the right source of volume to help drive your business is a huge pain point, especially as we're working in industries that are growing. I mean, use solar as an example. That is not an industry that is ever slowing down again. And there is a lot of fragmentation and there's a lot of issues and complexity to be worked through around utilities, legislation, and just general growth in the industry. So growth blended with efficiency is going to be really important. And so a lot of these partners are actively looking for high quality lead partners that can match the scale that they need to grow.
That's key, I think, because we may start small, but we want to be able to build a process that's repeatable and then scale it over time. So if you're finding all those different components in there is really crucial. Okay, so we are running out of time quicker than I thought we would be. It's always fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. So what would you say? Let me ask you this, because I know this is something that Three Ships specializes in, but we're talking about the lead to sales cycle, and we get further down that cycle into, where we're trying to pitch and then close them and get them to make a decision to buy from us, quite frankly, right? So how do you, Three Ships, help customers make decisions quickly and with confidence?
Yeah, so that's going to come down to 100% just the quality of what we're putting out. Let's use an example of review sites. And again, about 100 bajillion of those seemingly brands out there that are, writing reviews on anything, any category, literally in the universe. I think in our world, there's the, CNET, Solar Reviews, Forbes, brands, all doing great business and great work and providing value to consumers. But on the same side of that spectrum, there are other brands that, monetization is their game. They're a business and they're trying to justify the investments they're making in the search space. And so, rankings might not be 100% true or authoritative or transparent. And so, really what we focus on as a business is keeping editorial and business separate. As we're building out content, let's just say, who are the best solar installers in North Carolina? That's where I am. It's not Gavin on business development and a content writer sitting down and going, hey, here's the order that we need to maximize our revenue. It is them doing their research independently. They're the experts across these home services. And frankly, they need to be able to do that independently. And that's how we rank well. That's what adds to our domain authority and means that when consumers come across our page, it tends to be at the top of page one, and the information they're being provided with is factual, and it gives them the tools that they need to make a decision quickly when they eventually speak to one of our partners.
Fantastic.
So, transparency and who is effective and good in the space, but also additional tools. We have a solar cost calculator. We're trying to help consumers understand the costs associated with some of the decisions they're making in their local area. And so that's really the work that we do to help ensure that the audience is right by the time it comes to our partners.
Absolutely. As we're talking about this and they're making a decision, helping them make the decision quickly and with confidence, and the importance of all of the things you just discussed, I'm thinking too, like a few examples of some of the GTR customers that use our app as a closing tool, and really kind of telling people, one of the things that you're going to do when you sign up with us is download this app, read it to not our customers, but their customers, right? XYZ Solar, for example, gives them this, as a as a way of saying, hey, we're going to stay in close communication with you throughout this process, not just what we've done so far from that lead to sales cycle that we've just talked about, right? We're going to continue that relationship. We're going to stay in contact with you at every stage of your project process. Taking care of full, fantastic customer experience that we want everyone to have, so that we do get that full funnel, right? Not just that cycle from lead to sale, but the sale.
Exactly. And that's kind of how, our continued conversations on partnership have evolved. We fit together very well in that sales process, and in the spirit of better and continued transparency,
Right.
If we have one seamless thread of communication for the consumer, that's just going to end up better for everybody. And I actually hilariously have firsthand experience on your platform before we'd even spoken before, probably about a year ago, just one of our new solar partners coming on we're trying to evaluate what's important to them and how they want to grow, and standing up an effective ambassador program and figuring that out was important to them. So there was a good 2-month period there where yours truly was logging on to get the referral and putting independent referral candidates that we had kind of spun up on our end into that program. And it really is, email, text, multiple different touches and ways of engaging with your consumer. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, well, thank you. And yeah, we love that, we can turn those customers and sales into advocates, is what we refer to them as, that get the referral, and they can become our another lead source. And
Exactly.
Referrals are always quality, so we want those lead sources as well.
Yeah,
all right,
cost effective too.
Exactly. You've already paid for the customer, right? So, and you can reward them, and you decide what the reward is. So all of that is good stuff. Well, we are quickly running out of time, Gavin. I know that you jumped in and answered the question that came through earlier. And I did have an email question that came through before the presentation, but you actually already answered it, I think.
Oh, wow. Did I now?
Yeah, when we talked about, what the quality, how you qualify leads differently than other lead providers, and how you guys set yourselves apart. And I think the huge key is that when you guys have your own sites, and these are for all intents and purposes inbound leads, right, that are coming in, and that is a huge differentiator from someone in the marketing world, because when they're coming to you saying, I want a solar installation, I'm interested in you, and you go, hey, I have the company for you, you're light years ahead of someone saying, hey, the old school advertising way of
absolutely. And on top, we are doing this well, and the quality of the audience we're passing through speaks for itself. We're making sure that we're understanding each kind of conversion point from our partners so that we have a good sense of the health of the program. But constant user experience optimizations needed to stay relevant, to make sure that we're improving the process. So is our funnel today what it's going to be in 6 months? Probably not. Where we do incremental CRO testing every week. We have a large slate of tests that we're running to help improve conversion and improve the volume and the scale that we're bringing through, but also making sure that we're doing that in lockstep with our partners so that growing volume doesn't result in an adverse reaction to the quality of what we're providing, because that's really how we stay relevant in the space.
Yeah, definitely. There's always that challenge of balancing, you don't want to compromise quality. So it's good that you guys are keeping that as your focus.
You got to keep quality first. Nothing's sustainable if your partnerships are on edge because quality just doesn't quite cut it.
Sure. I agree 100%. Well, we are almost out of time, and we appreciate you all spending time with us today. And as we promised, I do have a special offer for you. Now, before I get to the offer with GTR, I did want to just give a little shout out to 3Ships and Gavin real quick here, and let you know we would invite you to learn more about 3Ships and what they have to offer by booking a meeting with Gavin. You take a look at the link in the chat box. I'm going to drop it there in just a second. For the page that you can go to book a meeting with Gavin, as well as see what special offer I have to share with you today from Get the Referral. So let me put that in the chat box for us real quick so we can see that there. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to pop back to our presentation for just a minute and share this special offer page right here. So today, we are offering 10% off new subscriptions and upgrades, plus 1 free full marketing stack, which includes 2 printable flyers and 7 videos. This offer is good for existing customers as well as new customers to GTR. So if you're an existing customer, please contact your customer success manager to claim the offer by January 31st. That's just to claim it. So you have a little time to figure out what upgrade is right for you as you discuss that with your customer success manager. But go ahead and reach out to them. They are looking forward to hearing from you. And if you are new to GTR, welcome. I'd like to personally invite you to schedule a demo. Just click that link and fill out that form. Again, try to get that demo scheduled by the 31st of January so that you can claim this offer, and that discount in the marketing stack will be redeemed upon sign up. So make sure that you mention that you were on the webinar. You don't want to miss this, guys. I want to tell you, we had such a huge response. This is part of one of the offers that we ran during our 12 Days of Christmas promotion. Everybody loved it, so we thought we'd bring it back for the webinar attendees today. So we hope that you will take us up on this offer. That is all I have for you today. And Gavin, I want to thank you so very much for sharing your time and expertise and insight with us. You have been amazing. Thank you again, my friend.
It was a blast. I really appreciate you and all the hard work you did to get this stood up. Just so organized, really on top of things, put together a great agenda. So thank you, Michaela.
It has been my pleasure. We wish you the best with the rest of your day, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. It has been wonderful, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.